What is up, guys? Zane for Forward Progress Madden. Welcome back, subscriber tips. Just want to take a quick second, apologize for how delayed these were in getting sent out. Yesterday, I had to drive up to Chicago to help family member get a new car and help them get back home. So I was on the road all day long yesterday. So I woke up first thing in the morning, make sure I get these out to you guys. I really do apologize. That will not be a problem in the near future. I'll make sure to plan ahead. This was kind of sprung on me, so it was a little bit of a last second thing. So family first in that situation. So today's topic is what do I do against Max Protect West Coast Gun Bunch? So you guys obviously know West Coast Gun Bunch is probably the best West Coast or the best gun bunch in the game. So what we're going to focus on today primarily is the play Dig Halfback Out, which is it's the Skimbo special. So the reason that this play is so good is because it actually brings back the old S post, that route that kind of works its way over the middle of the field that you remember that he threw so often. And you guys saw Goes win the championship belt this past weekend. So this is going to be a popular play that you're going to need to know how to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and call that. And I'm gonna talk about two things here. The first thing is 91 zone. We know about that. 91 zone is the best way to defend something. But the other thing that I'm going to talk about is the benefit of having the 91 zone here at free safety in the 4-3 over, because that's my primary defense. And then I'm going to show you a nice little trick that I also use to also man up the problem or the main route that you have to be concerned with on this play. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be the 4-3 over cover 6. Now, if you guys have been watching me on stream lately, you guys know that this is becoming my favorite go-to gun bunch stopper. So the reason for this is that in the cover 6, you have a cover 4 side and you have a cover 2 side. So more often than not, when you're facing the gun bunch formation, you want to make sure that you're calling the cover 4 flipped, or not the cover 4, the cover 4 side of the cover 6. So it's flipped towards the side with the solo receiver. In this case, it's Stefon Diggs. Now, what you want is to make sure that you have 91 zone in this spot right here. Now, what I typically do is I will walk him down to about a linebacker depth, somewhere about right here. And the reason for that is we have the deep outside covered. I can shade down and take away the short outside, or I could take away the sideline outside with a cloud flat if I want to shade up. Now, what I'll do on this play more often than not is I will take this player, Kendricks, who's in a 3 receiver hook, and that's great. He's going to defend that short right area of the field. However, as you guys know, there are a ton of plays in the gun bunch in which players use motion. Sometimes they motion a receiver from the bunch side of the formation to the short side of the field, and that would flip where your 3 receiver hook is going to cover. So here's what I end up doing. I just go ahead and I take this middle linebacker and I put him into a dedicated hook curl. Now, the reason for that is he won't drop to one side or the other. He's going to drop straight to that left short area of the field. Now, the next thing I do after this, now this gets a little bit confusing, but if you guys are playing MUT, you guys need to make sure you have one of those outside linebackers, those out of position linebackers like Ed Reed or one of those types of players that you can get subbed in to the defensive end position. And then when you go to your defensive end and bluff blitz them by flicking the right stick to the right, it puts them into the 3 receiver hook to replace the hook curl that Eric Kendricks was on. Now, this would be perfect if they snap the ball at this point. I like to use their bar, of course, and the gist of this is that we know that they want to run 3 routes on the play. So they like to max protect. More often than not, they're going to go ahead and fade one of these guys to run off the coverage on the right side, and then they're going to put this player on a short a hitch and usually playmaker him over the middle. So let's go ahead and defend the first thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to throw the S post. So we'll go ahead and see here what this looks like. If I were to go and throw this S post, you got 91 zone there that is able to break on the ball because he's the inside quarter of the cover 6. Now, if I was real patient here, I'll go ahead and do this again here. I'll go ahead and run the exact same setup. Walk my 91 zone down to linebacker depth. Put Eric Kendricks in his hook curl assignment. Now, depends on which side of the center he's on. So you see right here, he's on the right side. If you can base align, what it ends up doing is it moves him over here. That way, when you put him in the hook curl, he goes to the left. Bluff blitz your right of screen defensive end. And I would ideally be usering right here. So the whole reason for the hook curl on the left And then the 3 receiver hook is the 3 receiver hook drops to the right side, the side with 3 receivers. The hook curl drops to the left side regardless. That way, if they were to playmaker B over the middle, Thielen, I've got 2 hooks that are to the inside of my help. So I can basically cover this, make sure it's not going to the outside, because I've also got cloud flat coverage on that side of the field. So if I wanted to, if I know that they're doing the playmaker setup, I can put Newman into a hard flat. That way he takes away the short playmaker to the right, and then I've got double hook help to the left, which allows me to drift off into the post and defend the fade and the S post over the middle. So again, we'll go ahead and run this here. Max protect, fade A, smart route B. Now keep in mind, I would be using, I'm just going to click off bar. I would be using bar right here. So again, just kind of hover. You see that the short area of the field, I got nowhere to playmaker. And then if I wanted to really throw that ball right there, it does look open, but you have to keep in mind that that would be who I was using in that play. So in this example, you aren't allowing your opponent to basically get off the playmaker. I mean, you take a look here. If I playmaker to the outside, I've got well, one, the 3 receiver hook covers the short check down right away. So it takes away that. You can't throw the little check down. Keep in mind that's Daniel Hunter, who doesn't have coverage rating. But if it's Ed Reed or anybody that's an outside linebacker with a little bit of zone coverage, he's going to cover that so that way they have to move it. And if they move it over the middle, you should have this other hook zone that can break down on it. And if they were to playmaker to the outside, you have this hard flat that can take care of that. Now, as far as the rest of the play, you look at this fade. You got a deep half on this side of the field, so that deep half cannot get beat on the lob fade to the outside, which is great. And then you see right here that this player is in the 91 zone. So if they were to really want to throw this, they would have to throw it super late in the process. Now, also keep in mind that if you have 91 zone at this spot, which we don't, but Rhodes is close, you can see how he's like breaking on this ball as well. So if you were to have 91 zone, that at this position and this position, that S post is never ever going to be an issue for you in this offense, which is going to allow you to really focus on stopping the playmaker in the short stuff underneath that so many players want to heavily rely on. Now, let me go ahead and show you what it looks like to have 91 zone at the other spot. So I'm going to go ahead and flip Harrison Smith over to the other position. So again, the play that we're running here is the West Coast gun bunch, and the play is called, I believe, dig halfback out. So now this time what we're going to do is we're going to take Harrison Smith and move him over to this position. I'll just flip-flop. And we'll do the exact same setup. So I come out, I base align, moves that middle linebacker. I'm going to go ahead and shade the coverage down against this dig halfback out play, especially because of the playmakers. I'm going to put this player into a true hook zone. I'm going to bluff blitz this player. And then I'm going to walk this safety down just enough to kind of make them think, okay, I don't want to run the draw. Okay, I don't really think I have. It also makes them think that we're blitzing, for one, because this look is, it makes it look like somebody's got to be coming from the left side. You know, you've got a safety and 2 linebackers over here. This looks like the left side could be blitzed anyways. But just walking that safety down also helps take away that quick throw up the seam on the S cut. So now let's go ahead and show you what this looks like exactly with 91 zone at the other spot. Now keep in mind that you should have 91 zone at both spots if you can. I understand some of you play salary cap, so it's not an option for you. But or you know, you play CFM where it's not an option for you as well. So go ahead and show you here. I'm gonna try. I can't throw the S post here. I can throw it down passly, but also keep in mind that I can't. You know, I can't basically use or defend and make the pass here on the practice video. But you see how Harrison Smith is able to turn around and get a, you know, almost an interception. He gets a hit. More times than not, that's going to end up being a drop. You see right here how Harrison Smith covers the fade. But as soon as we go to throw that S post underneath of it, he has eyes in the back of his head. He's able to turn around and break on this. And you can see that he just actually tried a swatting animation. If he would have tried to, you know, make an interception animation, actually tried to hit the receiver, there's no chance this ball gets caught. So we'll go ahead and throw it again. So again, cover 6 from the 4-3 over, base align. You're going to shade your coverage underneath. This is against dig halfback out. Keep that in mind. You're going to go ahead and put this guy into a hook curl, bluff blitz your defensive end. Hopefully that's a defensive end who's a safety playing linebacker out of position promo if you're a MUT player. And then you're going to user this player. So again, I mean, you know, I'm not usering on this play. So take a look at the coverage without me usering, and that's the major element. So again here, if I were to try to playmaker, you know, playmaker to the middle. I don't have it. If I wanted to try to throw that, you see how Harrison Smith is able to turn around and get that. The reason I did not throw that low is, again, if I were usering, that would be my area of the field. So we have two players standing right here. This bar would be drifting back underneath this fade, and then I would take this post as it comes across the field. So if they wanted to throw a low ball, that'd be right to me. But you can see that if you can't throw a low ball, it's enough for this safety to get back and make a play on the ball. So 91 zone at the two safety positions in this formation is so crucial. So I promised that we'd talk about man coverage as well. So let's go ahead and talk about man coverage in this defense to defend the whole playmaker setup. So what I like to do with this is something that I will go to occasionally, especially if I know that they're falling in love with the dig halfback out max protect. It's really tough when you face an opponent who actually mixes in corner strike, then makes in the 5 route combinations along with the max protect. But if you're facing someone who just playmakers all day long, here's something that I'll do. So take a high man coverage player. So I'm going to go ahead and sub Rhodes, put him back in the spot. And then again, all things being equal, I would probably end up going with if you only have one 91 zone guy, I would actually go with him in the deep half. And then just walk this safety down to make it scary, just enough so they don't try to throw it right away. And then put your man coverage guy over here at the flat zone. So we'll go ahead and do this setup now. This is our man coverage way of stopping the playmaker. So dig halfback out. So we're going to go ahead and max protect, do the exact same setup on offense. I'm going to go ahead and set up my defense the exact same way. Base align. I'm going to shade my coverage underneath. I'm going to take this player and put him into a hook curl over the middle. Now this player right here, Rhodes, is going to go into man coverage on Adam Thielen. Now, again, this is specifically dedicated to stopping dig halfback out. You want to take a high man coverage player and put him in man coverage on the playmaker guy, because when they go to playmaker that hitch, he's not going to get separation. Now, for the rest of this play, if you want to, you can leave that 3 receiver hook. So what I mean by the 3 receiver hook is, in this example, you would have a situation where the 3 receiver hook would drop over to the right. Now, if you're facing the setup that's max protect fade with the hitch, that 3 receiver hook doesn't do you much good over there. In fact, he's probably better off in the regular hook. But if you're worried about them mixing in other plays and you being wrong, 3 receiver hook isn't the worst thing in the world. Now, if you really want to hedge your bet, go ahead and take this defensive end and put him into a hard flat. That way, if they play maker to the outside, you've got somebody out there. That way, if they run drags, you've got 2 hard flats on the field with your 2 hook zones. Again, we're still going to walk this guy down in the box, and I'm still going to user this player bar. Now, the dynamics change quite a bit with this setup. So again, I'm not usering, but take a look at this. If I were to go ahead and play maker to the right or left, we're going to be covered. You see how Rhodes has that? Now, of course, the S post is open, but that's because I'm not using it. So that's my spot right there. So you saw in that example how we waited so long that the fade pulled Harrison Smith so far away that we couldn't actually make the throw. So you have to understand at this point, this player in the middle of the field that we're not using, this is our area of the field that we're covering right here. The thing about this defense is that we know the spot that we have to cover, as opposed to a lot of others. You guys watched how basically anybody that was facing the gun bunch, they had to kind of mix up what they were doing every play. They would just kind of do stuff randomly, and that's what you saw how Problem got himself into trouble against Goes. He got really creative. He was cross-manning his free safety on the playmaker guy, and then Goes just threw a touchdown over the top to a streak to beat him. And this defense doesn't make you guess. This is a formula that we can use. So you can either use the first setup, which is the pure zone setup with 91 zone at both safety positions, or you could use the hybrid man setup that I just used, where in this example, if you were to actually take a look at this, again, bar would be drifting off into this area of the field right here underneath this fade where the post is going to be hitting. So where this circle is on the field would be about where I'm using. I'd just be staying on this route right here and pick this off because, again, we don't have to worry about this. Now, the other thing about this is what's really great is if your opponent scrambles to the right side. So say they don't playmaker, but then they look and see nothing open because they only have 3 routes on the field. If they scramble out to the outside, they're not going to be able to go very far. So we'll go ahead and set this up again. Max protect. And I'm really focusing on this play just because of how, how dominant it was last week. So again, here's your setup. So this is, again, the man coverage setup. But if you were to run this, right, the beautiful thing about this is that we're not trying to blitz from this look, so you can shift your line to the right if you want, and then you could crash them down. What that gives us is 2-3 techniques to help stop the run, and then a nose tackle along with this defensive end that's going to be dropping into the flat. So if they try to scramble up the middle on you, you should have a pinch line where they are unable to stop you. Plus they're going to be running right into your user. And then if they want to scramble to the outside, again, I'm not usering, but again, if I were to try to scramble to the outside, I'm going to click to send that closest defender, whether it's, you know, the main coverage, whether it's, you know, whoever. So again, I'll go ahead and set this up one more time here just for you. So max protect, fade A, hitch B. We'll go ahead and get this done here. So here's your setup. Now I'm just gonna, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna try to like drift off here. I'm not even sure. I'm gonna put him into a vertical hook and click off. But now with this example, I'm gonna go ahead and playmaker. So if I were to playmaker A over the middle and then scramble, now I'm going to scramble, right? You could just click the right stick in. Now you can send your flat. Now, again, I'd be usering the deep post over the middle. So you've got scramble protection on both sides of the field. So you take a look at this. Even if they try to clear out and use the playmaker just to get him out of the way and scramble, that hard flat that you drop on the right side is there to pursue the quarterback. So again, this bar right here would be drifting off into the field as my user. You see how everyone else on the field, if they playmaker over here, it's covered. If they want to playmaker over here, it's covered. The only thing they can really hit is this post, and that's our responsibility in this setup. So hopefully this video has been informational for you guys. This is a play that you're going to need to be prepared for. It's all anybody ran at the Club Championship Series, so definitely be on the lookout for it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. Again, thank you so much for the continued support, subscribing. We're at 333 subscribers and counting. That's all you guys. So I really do appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do what I do for a living, being able to teach you guys the game of Madden. And I'll see you guys next Saturday with the next sub tips.